It's the weekend. It's Mailbag. I am joined by Big Daddy Dave and New Daddy Matt. We're going to get through questions from TWS, Maggie, Laura, Foxy, Mike, and Adam, hopefully. What we're not going to do is dwell on Bill Kenwright's comments, but I do want to talk about him just for 1 minute.
Can I just ask first, lads, in the 3 weeks I've been away, is that a new nickname for Dave that's been established? Big Daddy Dave? Is that what he's been calling himself the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, it's it cropped up on one Zoom call, didn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it did. But I don't feel comfortable saying it when there's an actual new parent who's joining back, to be honest with you. So I'm not too sure Matt's comfortable with being called Big Daddy Dave, are you, mate?
I mean, I've obviously missed a lot in the last few weeks.
It was to do just before we start. It was to do with the fact that I sort of become obsessed with talking about. Well, this is another thing that you won't have heard any of. I started talking about Pickford and leather quite a lot.
Yeah. I remember all that carry on. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that just developed a lot more into some sort of porn and leather. So and gimp masks. So yeah, things got a bit out of control since you've been away, mate. I have to apologise.
I mean, standard fare for Mailbag, really.
just for full transparency here as well, we are recording this at 10:08 on Saturday morning and all ready to talk about the gimp masks.
We haven't even had our lunch. Yeah.
Dave's also started the side hustle as a professional wrestler as well, so there is that element too as well. Just quickly want to touch on Bill Kenwright's comments because the man's clearly deluded, isn't he? If he's talking about Palace and Leicester as these good times.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, I've sort of been away from this Everton bubble for the last few weeks, and that sort of very much pierced it last night. And it's just the thing that annoyed me most about it is this is obviously people have been waiting for this document for a while. Everton have left it to the last possible moment to release it, thereby heightening the focus on it. And it's got loads of stuff in it which isn't good, is it? Let's be honest. A lot of it is terrible. As much as they want to dress it up as we're not losing as much money as we have done in recent years, and there's a lot of clubs are losing money as well. But for that to be the fourth paragraph on the entire thing, listen, I know you all hate me, but what about Palace and what about Leicester last season? They were good, weren't they? It's just I don't want to go too far into it because I'm sure we will do on shows this week. It just reeks of a club that's insular and just can't see the wood for the trees, for want of a better saying.
Yeah, you can't have a sort of modern dynamic club when you've got a fella like that running the show.
It's leadership in inverted commas and PR from a different generation, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the PR thing, it's absolutely staggering. It's just don't say that. Okay, we did enjoy Leicester, it was brilliant. We did enjoy Palace in a way, but it's but we don't dwell on that now because essentially it was just a bit shit. We shouldn't have been in that position, but there we go. That leads us quite nicely onto a question from Maggie actually. So she asked this. I'm getting through a backlog of questions that we got because I'm in a very privileged position to have loads of questions to pick from. So Maggie said, it's been a year since our king, Louis McKechnie, saved Everton from relegation. So what other examples of direct football action would you like to see at Goodison Park? I say bring back the main stand cushions to throw on the pitch, but have them all around the ground. There's one for the younger listeners there.
What about were we going to do tennis balls at one point with Martinez? Wasn't that suggested as a potential protest?
Yeah. I think we do something the same that would be quite valued, to be honest with you. What club is it? You'll definitely know the answer to this, Matt, because it's one of the foreign clubs, one of the European clubs that does it, where they all throw teddy bears on the pitch, because obviously for a kids for charity type of thing.
Club, innit?
Yeah, it's in it might be. Is it Villarreal?
Or was it Betis?
It might be, but anyway, I just think that's a great idea because it's twofold, really, isn't it? It's throwing abuse at the players that's not actually going to hurt them, but obviously they'll get the message that we don't like them, and then we can do something nice for charity as well at the same time. So I'd love a bit of that, and I'd also like to see, we've had various mascots like Changi, but do you remember one? I think it was early 2000s, might have been late 90s. That was Dixie. It was a foam Dixie, and Mr. Testicles. I'd like all of them to come together as one little firm. That just walked around and all that and got everyone signing autographs and all that sort of thing. I wouldn't mind seeing some of that.
Is it in the T20 cricket where they have a mascot race?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'll be into that definitely.
Like Mr.
Yeah,
Testicles.
David Lloyd did it, didn't he? David Lloyd used to do the commentary for it.
Yeah. Like Dixie versus Mr. Testicles versus Changi in like an obstacle course.
Yeah, get Louis Spencer as well.
Yeah.
Changi's great.
Yeah. It is better, by the way, Les. You're right.
What's that?
It is better
It's
stuff.
better.
Yeah.
Was it not like did that sort of thing? I can't remember what paper did it, where it shows you like the scariest mascots the clubs had.
Oh,
I'd actually like what Matt said there. I think it's a great idea to put all of them that look really snide and evil and things and devils. Yeah, Man United must have a devil
yeah,
mascot.
Fred
the Red.
Yeah.
Was it Partick Thistle at the terrifying one? Yeah.
What's Partick Thistle? Come on.
I'll use that as the picture for this, right? But it's basically to do with their sponsor or something. It's like meant to be a sun. I think a fan.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Just like a weird looking face and a big like it looked like a star of a head, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a nightmare version of the Teletubbies' son. Like all sorts of like Maggie Simpson drawn with your eyes closed, something like that.
That's right. Yeah. What was the one that West Brom had?
I think got a boiler.
Combi boiler.
Boiler. What a shout that is, a boiler.
Do you know what I find quite terrifying? The fact that somewhere in the halls of Goodison or the deepest recesses, that Dixie costume's still lurking. It's just there, like unanimated in a corner. Imagine how sinister that must look if you walk into a room and put the light on.
There'll be a few former players that's hidden that, mate. The ones that have been hated and was trying to sell, they've definitely hidden that.
Maybe the board should do that. Come in.
That's how they can get into the ground. Yeah,
just sneak themselves in.
Bill can you imagine? Can you imagine the seats on the main stand? Each one of them's in a different character.
I reckon Bill would go Changi.
No, he'd go Dixie, surely. He'd the man.
Yeah. Denise would go Mr. Testicles just to throw the scent right off. And Grant Ingles would just go in as himself because no one knows what he looks like.
Someone go in dressed as Louis Spence.
Yeah, Sharpie can go as a toffee lady. Get the frock on.
Do you know what? I think if they did that, I could happily forgive them.
maybe this is the way back.
Yeah, might as well try it.
Who would Snods go in as?
He'd go in as Diamond, the Diamond would go in as Snods.
Unbelievable.
There you go. One from Jake. What's your Everton unpopular? Been loads of these in the week, but I'll ask it anyway. What's your Everton unpopular opinion / hill you're going to die on?
Mine is, and it always has been, that we should wear blue socks.
Really? With blue shorts or white shorts, or just blue socks and white shorts?
I don't mind blue shorts, but I don't think we should play in it all the time. But I think blue socks, white shorts, blue top.
It's always been a bit Birmingham City for me, that. I
don't know. There's just something about the blue socks I really like. Maybe it's because we don't play in them all the time. It's a bit of like a welcome change.
Yeah. What's the first kit you remember?
Probably the salmon and navy stripes.
What was the first home kit? The 95 one then?
Probably would have been like
the one.
The year before. It's the year before. It's like the collar's like quite thick on it.
Yeah. Oh, that had white socks. Oh, because I was thinking maybe if your first kit had blue socks, that was.
Well, the 95 had blue and
black.
I could live with them as well. I thought they were
Definitely.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm all about the blue socks. I'm a fan.
Navy socks. I'd have that. That looked good.
What was that? 2014-15 we did that?
Yeah, it's a good kit, that one.
The Wolfsburg kit. We beat them.
Yeah, Coleman and Baines. Yeah.
But yeah.
Dave, what's your hill? Anything as controversial as blue socks?
No, do you know what Matt just said there? The blue shorts and the blue socks. It always feels like we're playing at Old Trafford because that's what we generally wear every time we go to United away.
Yeah, or Arsenal.
But the thing that I'd be willing to die on, again, quite controversial. I think I might still receive abuse over this. We never should have sacked Marco Silva. And I'm not just saying that because Fulham have done really well this season and all that, but I don't know what it was when we first got him, but I thought the way we started playing and obviously the players we brought in, it was well, relatively still on the way down to hell, wasn't it? As we were falling, almost throughout his campaign with us, but always felt that he was the one that could have done a lot better than if he was given some more. Look, I know he's going to get sacked when he got beat 5-2 at Anfield. That was inevitable in the end, wasn't it? But
yeah,
thought he was better than what he was allowed and what he was given, and I think I'm not saying this is in like trying to be some sort of our last, but what he's done at Fulham so far, I think, is a really good job, and it shows that he's a decent manager.
Can someone please go back to 2018 and find a podcast where Dave's saying we need to get this fella out immediately?
Did I say that about Marco Silva?
I can't remember the top of my head. I agree with everything you said there, but I also think, looking back, it was still the right decision to sack him because he just looked like, that was 4 years ago. Like that was 5 years ago. It'd be like saying, looking at a player and going, well, we should have sold him, and if they kick on, like it was just, not the right time for him. And we were in the relegation zone. The team were playing terrible. We got levered by Liverpool. Like it felt like the obvious choice. Yeah.
As well, didn't he?
Yeah.
He
had that look about him, didn't he? Whenever we lost, like he did like a sallow faced like. Yeah. Sadness.
Yeah. Like, he reminded me of Steve Clarke. Whenever you see Steve Clarke, and regardless of what scenario it is, even when Scotland beat Spain the other day, he looks like he's just been thrown out by his missus and he has to kick in his car. That's exactly what Marco Silva always looked like.
You could hear Mad World playing whenever you looked at him.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know, Matt? Just to go further on that, I think I'm allowed to ask a question on top of what we were asked, but. Is there a manager you'd have kept, aside from ones that have let, like Ancelotti, take him out of the equation? Are there any managers we've had in your time, in our time, since we've supported the Blues, who you'd like to have stayed longer?
No, I don't think so.
Joe Royle for me.
Joe Royle's the only one.
Oh, yeah, Joe. Yeah.
But no, because the circumstances around them all are just so bad that they're all kind of set up to fail. And like, our only way of avoiding relegation is, let's get a new fella in who could potentially give us a bounce, and then we'll sack him in a few months, because like there's no strategy away from that, is there? Like
I thought you'd have said, obviously not putting words in your mouth, I thought you'd have said Martinez, because if there's the reason why I'm not, and look again, it's really difficult to take out what he actually said as a person, because I thought he was a fucking idiot at the end. But when you look at, like, he never got the fair chance with the money, and then we got Koeman after him. So things got worse, really, didn't he?
Well, no, he basically, I don't know what you think, Les, but he basically like gradually ruined all the Moyes did. Like the more he got a grip on that team, the worse it got. Despite having the best young striker maybe in the world at the time.
That defence can't be sniffed at either that he had there. That was an unreal defence.
Like Burgeon and John Stones, Jags, this Stan. Like Coleman and Baines were like not the best.
Yeah.
You can't deny that first season's been the best year we've had for a long, long time, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was like it was like perfect synergy, wasn't it, between like a solid side that just like got freshened up a little bit.
That's all Moyes' team ever needed, wasn't it? It needed that attacking impetus that he was too scared to give them. Yeah. So as you say, Matt, the more he got his claws into the rest of the way the team was set up and run, the worse it got.
Do you know, remember like Sunderland away? Oh my god!
It was grim. And his Tim Howard thing as well killed him completely.
Oh yeah,
onto him for yeah.
I'm not got a hole there. Sorry.
Just on Marco Silva as well, though. I think I can see both sides to it. And my thoughts on it are that's where the owner and the chairman have got to show like some bottle, and they should have backed him. I always think that we were well within our right to say get rid, because we were in a terrible position. He looked defeated, and the club were on the edge of the relegation zone. But if you're an owner or a chairman or whatever that's been chasing a manager for 2 years, you don't get rid of him at the first sign of trouble. That's where they have to do their job, and they didn't. It may have turned out right. Marcel Brands wanted to keep him. Apparently, it might have all turned out right. We might have got relegated. But I think that's probably the first sign that you look at the owner there and think he hasn't really got a clue what he's doing here, because you don't bail on a manager you've wanted for that long at the first sign of trouble. I think that was the issue for me there. My hill to die on as well as ever, get rid of grand old team. I just don't like it.
Good shout. That's
Tom Davis at right back as well. Still could.
Do you know what? Sadly, I've given up on Tom Davis now. I've finally.
Why did it take you that long, Les?
I don't know, because I just like the lad, and I always thought he had more about him, but I just think it's never going to work, is it? I still think
there's a lot of things. I think it might well be the peak of me and Matt in the Blue Room was that away trip to Swansea, and I'll never ever forget him saying to me, he's the only one that runs with the ball forward. Do you remember saying that, Matt? I'm not saying you lie. It was wrong to say it.
Vaguely, yeah.
When he started, he was though. He was always like, you think back, I know that sort of that 4-0 win against City is a bit of an albatross now for him, but you look at him around that time, and he was the midfielder who would always look for that forward pass. And I think a lot of times that's why he gave the ball away a lot, because he wasn't, our midfielders notoriously over the last few years, at least, have done those shithouse passes 2 yards, give it back to the players, just give it to them, especially the back four. I think he did look for the forward pass, but I just think he's regressed so much because he's had so little game time and whatever else, that I just don't think it's ever going to work. So fine.
You don't think he's been given enough chance?
Not really, no, because to just drop a young player in like that and fits and starts over what, a 5-year period,
On top of the rest of us being shite.
Yeah, and look at some of the players we've had in midfield during that time. Yeah.
Like, he's one of those players, like, do you reckon he's ever played 10 games in a row for us?
I don't think so.
That's
no,
a
it
good
doesn't
point,
seem
though.
like it, does it? Because even when he's had like when he's looked like he's had a good run, I think like last season he got dropped for Ghana straight away when he was playing some decent stuff in the middle there in that same position as Ghana, and he got dropped. So he was always the
I think he's had a defined position as well.
Yeah, and he was always the easy option to take off as well.
Yeah.
Even if he was having a good game, he'd be the one who'd get hooked on like 60 minutes, something like that.
I've always just thought that physically, and obviously it's impossible to change what we all are in many ways in terms of like being as fit as you possibly can. But I've always felt that knocked him down a little bit because he always looked like quite sluggish to me when he had the ball. For a lad who's so young and so physically fit, obviously to be a Premier League footballer. I just felt he should have been bigger. If he just went and did the weights for a few weeks, I reckon he'd be absolutely sound.
I think that dawned on me the other week, and I think this is when I gave up, when he came on against someone. I think it might have been at home. I can't remember, but he'd been on for about a minute, and he tried to run forward with the ball, and he looked like his legs weren't working. I was like, what's going on here?
He needs to wear longer socks now, doesn't he? We don't need to see those lack of calves.
He's one of those players that now, like, thinking about in the summer, and he's going to go on a free. Like, I've got no idea what level he ends up going to.
Yeah. End up at Forest Green doing vegan adverts with Big Dunk.
Like, would he go? Would another Premier League team have him, or would he go to like Scotland, or would he go abroad, or like top end of the Championship? Like,
wasn't Scotland always the shout that he was about to go up to Scotland at some point?
It was Rangers, wasn't there?
Rangers.
I fancy that being a great fit. I think so. Yeah, some European club would be good, wouldn't it? I'd love that for him.
Yeah.
There's no way I could never even see him visit Europe on holiday, mate. I don't reckon he's going to leave England.
No, he's quite a travelled lad.
Yeah, I think he's quite a traveller, isn't he?
Yeah,
is he? Yeah.
Him and Dom used to do train rides around Europe, apparently.
Let's hope he's not going to be set the same way, mate, when Dom comes back. But anyway.
Things never change, do we? We always end up down Tom Davis rabbit hole.
All right, then we'll switch it up a bit from Laura. What's your go-to kebab order?
Oh, I've got to be expert at this with those three, haven't I? I'm a huge fan of tahini.
Okay.
So, and again, I will give it the plug, even though I promise you they're not sponsors of us, but I seem to mention this quite a lot. George Jerry's in Bootle is the best place you can get a kebab. And I don't really like sweet chili, but I get sweet chili from there because that with tahini is the most glorious sauce combination you can ever taste. And look, I'm not that big of a fan of doner meat because I think it's snide. I think that someone's just invented, what shit can we actually sell? It might be half decent to eat. Doner meat, when you think about what it actually is, knocks you a bit sick.
Oh, it's mystery meat, isn't it?
No, that's what I mean. You don't know what it is, mate. It could be like when your cat's had the shit or something like that. They've thrown that in there. So I'm going to go for like grilled chicken kebab, which I'm probably the one I've been having recently, really. And I've started liking a little bit more of a spicy sauce these days as I'm edging towards my 40s. So that'll be my choice, but with a proper nice pita bread. I think that makes a lot of it up.
Any salad?
Just onions. Can't stand lettuce. Onions. And do you know what else? A nice. Again, I think it's something that's going out quite quickly these days. But get an actual coleslaw. That's not like in a little tub or something like that they actually put onto your kebab, nice big lump of it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to go into the salad cream market once again, but it needs to be needs to edge slightly sweeter than what you'd normally get. Not just with mayo in it, something that's got a little bit of a twang.
You know, my kebab order's the complete opposite to yours. So I'm all over doner meat. It's just absolute filth.
Does it not make you feel sick when you've had, being on everyone does it?
Yeah,
when
I
you've
feel
been
awful.
out on the booze.
I know I'm gonna feel like, yeah. I mean, I eat these when I'm sober as well. I'm an
Really?
animal. I'm an animal. But
You
yeah,
know, go for your bowels, that mate.
no. I know I'm gonna feel dreadful after it. But
That's the thing, isn't it?
the village fryer in Upton does amazing doner meat. If that sounds like an oxymoron, but honestly, it's that good. So that with all the salad apart from onions and hot chili sauce.
You have hot chili sauce, yeah?
Yeah, got to.
Mate, it's a bad morning in your bedroom, isn't
Oh yeah, next day, no chance.
Go to bed with toothpaste.
Oh yeah, well yeah, no, I might get one of them tonight. It's not a bad shout that. I might take a trip to Bootle.
Oh mate, but you know what? It's got to the stage of us now. How much I slate your side of the river. I think like we should do an experiment where I come and spend the night, a nice night that you give me over there, and then I'll bring you to Bootle, which many people seem to think that I wasn't actually born in Bootle. I was born in Fazzachley. But I don't know whether that's any better or worse, to be honest with you. But come to Bootle, I'll give you a night out in Bootle, Les, and you give me a night out over there, and we'll film it and see what happens.
All right, I'll give you a night out in Birkenhead then.
Yeah, okay, Birkenhead. I have no idea. The last time I went around Birkenhead, there was a massive fire somewhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't really wish a night out in Birkenhead on anyone. I love the place, but Christ, it's a terrible night out. Matt, any kebab orders to throw in there?
Do you know what? I've never had like a doner kebab in my life from like the chippy or anything.
What?
We're all going to Birkenhead then.
I'll always that's like the last thing I'll probably get on the menu. Any chippy, I think it just looks wrong.
Oh, it is.
What would you get in the chippy then?
Probably like so the one by ours is like there's like Chinese. So I got like chili beef, salt and pepper chicken, that kind of stuff.
I haven't had chili beef in ages.
Yeah,
that's not going through the system well either, is it?
I'll never get doner. The kebab, like I've had like hanging kebabs and stuff like that. Like, like you go to Greece. Yeah. But like, nah, they just knock me a bit sick. I would get anything on the menu ahead of one, so I'm not very good at it.
Those are the modern day ones. Modern day, like it's a food that's just been invented. But what are they called? Shawarma meat.
Yeah.
That's really, really nice. That feels like something that's been cooked properly. It doesn't make you feel awful when you wake up the next morning. I actually think that's all right. There's a few Turkish places that does that kind of kebab. I like that.
I tried some vegan shawarma, awful stuff.
There's no way Big Dunk is not at meat since he's been for the screen, by the way.
No, he's just been getting fed those croissants. That's it. Constantly living on
some of the adverts being class, haven't they?
Oh, it's amazing that. Right, back to the footy, and Mike has asked your favourite inside the first minute Everton goal. I think this is probably on the back of Brentford. I think.
How early was that?
It was first 2 minutes. Oh, it was the first minute because me just got in the ground.
29 seconds, wasn't it? Something like that.
Was it? Yeah.
It was our quickest ever winning goal, wasn't
it? Yeah.
Mine, Les, you need to check this out because it might not be first minute, although I'm thinking it is. Adama Traore's back heel in the FA Cup against Swansea at home.
Yeah, Lassina Traore. Come on, Dave.
Lassina, sorry, I said that. I wish it was Adama Traore. Yeah, Lassina, the big 9'4".
I don't think that was first minute. I think that was like 4 or 5.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't think you'll look back and it'll be 1 minute on the clock.
Oh shit.
But I
can't think we've started games. Like I literally must be on one hand the amount you can think about where we've scored really early goals.
Albert Lewin scored dead early against Fulham, didn't he? During lockdown.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've got mine. I think it was when Lukaku scored 4 in the 6-3 win.
I think.
Yeah.
Bournemouth.
What
are you going to say that way?
Just saying that was the one I was going to go for.
You can have that because I'll take being wrong about Lassina scoring that. Can anyone confirm how long it was?
Just trying to find the match report now on BBC, but you need to tell them to get it sorted, Dave.
Ollie Decor scored a belter in the first minute at Anfield as well.
Yeah,
what a
Traore's
quick shot.
goal.
Well, I tell you what,
Traore's goal was 4 minutes.
All right.
I can't have that, can I?
We won 3-1. Naismith and Bain scored for us as well.
Damn 180 seconds, bastards.
I mean, the obvious one's Louis Sahar, isn't it? The cup final.
Yeah, but it just tinged with sadness, that isn't it now?
Yeah, it is. I think it's the way it went.
Another one I thought of is bringing him up again. Tom Davis scored, I think, after about 20 seconds, and we beat Leicester 4-2. We went 2-0
home.
Yeah, they got it back to 2-2. And
oh, God, yeah.
We won 4-2. I think Old Brighton scored like a free kick from dead wide and just went over Joe Roberts' head. But Davis scored pretty much straight away.
Yeah, there was Unsworth in Moyes' first game as well, wasn't there?
Oh yeah. I think that probably tops up just in terms of what it meant. That was like 30 seconds in, wasn't it? Was what?
We hadn't scored for about 6 months under Walter Smith or something, had we? And then scores within 20 seconds.
That's right, yeah. Remember being right behind that in the paddock that day. Big Dunk scored that day as well, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, good times. Good times.
Bill would love us saying that, mate. We're edging dangerously close to that being the title of this mailbag. So we might have to...
Good times we put that picture of the Partick mascot on it. Gonna have to be.
Oh, no, I was going to say, mate, you mentioned Bill is anywhere near the title. I think that's the blue doom over.
maybe he's going to be in the Partick Thistle mascot outfit. Who knows? Who's under there? My money's on Ken, right? TWS has asked, who or what is your match day nemesis? Probably Everton, but apart from that,
match day nemesis.
That's a good question. That probably Dale Street when you're trying to get a taxi at 3:15.
Yeah,
it's just it's that perpetual like you've got to walk up towards Scotland Road. It's like how far do you go? Because the further up you go, the more time you're wasting, but you're more likely you are to get a taxi. It's like a little paradox going on in your head.
Just whatever you do, get the bus.
Don't get the bus. Yeah, we learned that the hard way, of course.
Well, I don't know if I feel slightly blessed to not being allowed to drive anymore, because it means my missus has to come and pick me up and take me where I want to go, which is obviously Denby for post match and to see you lads. But yeah, it is driving in general, because when I drive, I mean, it used to be okay, Matt, didn't it? When we did the post match in the car and all sorts of things, we used to be able to get it done really quickly. But I used to risk it every week. Where, if you remember, Matt, I used to park down any of the side streets there up to Goodison, and it'd be like touch and go whether you got a ticket or not. This sounds really sad, but I used to get like a napkin or anything I had in my car and just write on it, visiting whatever number I park next to. Just thinking that the ward might just think, oh yeah, he's only visiting here, so he's not really just using it to park and go to the match. But it became quite obvious when a lot of people did that and just left the car wherever and weren't bothered about getting a ticket. And then before I'm not allowed to drive anymore, I used to park, and again, Matt will know this from post match, was the car park that's next to the park end, next to the school, that's on the Bullen side. Parked in there. It's a shocking car park because they have like some stewards, about 4 or 5 stewards, who tell you where to park. But then if you want to get out, you'll have to wait a good half an hour. We can get the podcast done in that time. Wait about half an hour before the car next to you moves, so you can actually get out. There's no bays or anything like that. It's just mayhem.
The car park we used to use would be like that, and then our car park nemesis were the lads who ran that car park, because they put it up from a $5 to a $10 over one summer.
Right.
We're all struggling here, lads. I know, but Christ, a $10 to park. And yeah,
mate, it was 15 quid there, Les. That one I've just spoken about was 15 quid. And then I started thinking, do you know what? It's probably worth just risking it on the side streets, because if at least one out of 2 weren't as bad, it's just the same cost anyway and closer.
Well, what I've noticed is you see quite a lot of snazzy and big cars just parked on double yellows, because they either don't care because they've got enough money to pay the fines, or there's about 5 of them in the car, so they just think if we get a ticket, we'll just split it. Which I don't know. It kind of work. It's still. I'm
I'm in no way to say that I can afford these things, but it makes it sound like I'm really Tory this. But you know the way if you get a ticket, it's 30 quid inside 2 weeks, but then it's the full price, 70 odd or 80
Yeah.
quid. I used to start thinking, do you know what? Like I said, similarly, it's worth maybe risking that rather than paying silly money to park somewhere that you can't get out of in say 40 minutes. I mean, the reason why I went for that in the end was because we'd always do the post match there. But obviously, I'd far sooner settle for what we're doing in the Denby these days because that's miles better anyway. With the atmosphere we get in there too.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone there on Monday night, by the way?
Yeah, it's my first one back for a long time on Monday night, so I can't wait.
Delta.
Not for Denby as well. I'm going to go there afterwards. Is that what you meant, or you meant the actual game?
Yeah, both.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Can't wait. I think it's Matt's first one back as well, isn't it, mate?
I'm undecided, but probably will go. Yeah,
lovely stuff. So another one from TWS. When you sign your Everton deal, what bonus or benefit are you demanding?
Oh God, that's a great question. That
Some belters,
it really is. Well, the car parking's one. A decent car park. I think family in the main stands are a good one. Just so you're able to bring whoever you want along. I'd go for thinking of friends and family who I'd like to come along to, and maybe some that won't be asked. I'd like 5 places in the main stand that are able to get the hospitality as well before and after the game. That'd be one of my demands. So I'd have. In fact, I'm not going to go through a list of people that nobody knows. I'd have my missus, my mum, and all that. So that sort of thing, that feeling of, if you're about to say Onana, just picture him out there, early 20s, starting to make it as a player, going to be a top class player going forward as well with his potential. You'd want to be able to invite all your mates and all that, wouldn't you, to watch games and like sort of show off a bit that you've made it. So that's my sort of thing I demand.
Not the Dave Downey, Dollar Street End, then. Do you want
to I was only thinking this the other day, man, because I was going to the women's derby the other day, and I thought, when's the last time I was actually in the Goodison Street? And I genuinely think it must have been about 13, 14.
I haven't been in there for years myself.
No, not years, no. But then again, Matt, you wouldn't have been in another area of the ground other than the Gladys, would you, for a long time?
No, but machine ticket's been there for years now. So.
Do you know what? That was actually the nice thing about not having a season ticket when we started taking the kids, because you can go to different parts of the ground. It's quite good, isn't it?
Have you sat in every part of Goodison?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I think I just about have, but
I can just about say yeah. But then my first time in Goodison wasn't to watch Everton, and it's the only time I've been in the family enclosure. It was when Brazil played Japan in '94, but I haven't been back to. But I always think family enclosure looks boss as well. I think I do want to go back there because you get that close to the action. You're always going to be on the telly.
Yeah, the paddock's better, but you've got a good chance of getting your collar felt in the paddock if you shout abusive players.
It was a bit mad. The paddock was a bit mad because that's where I had my initial season ticket as a kid when I was 11 or something like that. It was only 99 quid for the full season as well, which was great. That was in 2002.
It's still it's still only about 150,
That's great. That's the one thing they do well. We're going into a different rabbit hole again, aren't we? Talking about how shit the club are, but they're decent at sorting kids out.
Yeah.
I said that in the wrong way, but you know what I mean.
The only part of the ground I've not watched the game from is the Upper Gladys.
Upper Gladys is a rarity.
Sorry, no, not Upper Gladys, Upper Bullens.
Upper Bullens. No, I've done Upper Bullens a couple
of times. I was there for the Goslin derby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Upper Bullens for the derby.
Yeah. Mad.
Yeah.
Go back to the original question. I thought of a semi-decent answer.
Go on then.
I would want full carte blanche on those stones outside Bramley Moor to be able to write any messages that I wanted on them.
Sack the boards and all. Do you reckon you're actually allowed to do that? Can you do that with this?
No, you
can't have it.
There's banned words, isn't there? So like
Kirby.
So I think it was Falcon Blues put up. Like they tried to put like Falcon Blues Supporters Club Kirby.
Yeah,
Kirby was a banned word on there. So
it's amazing.
Me and Matt spoke about this briefly, didn't we, the other day that we're going to try and get one.
Blue Room
Obviously, would ours be banned? Do you reckon he'd think, oh, you've been slagging the club off, you're not allowed to put TBR or something like that?
I think it's just like so it's like when you put your name into something, there's just like words that like don't get you through the process. So like I'm sure like Kenwright will be one that's like a banned word, like machinery.
Ken right, Ken wrong, Ken cunt. There must have been someone admin wise who'd been sitting there and someone next to him saying, right, eliminate these words, and they're just typing in, right, yeah, it's banned, it's banned, it's banned.
But imagine if your name was like John Kenwright and you've been an for like 60 years and he wants to get your name outside the ground and like, no, you weren't allowed.
You'd have to try and get through the barrier, wouldn't you, and say something else like, you know, like you do, like people do with the registration plates on a car. Like EF3 EF, you know what I mean? You have to try and do something like that and then try to convince to everyone, oh yeah, that's meant to be my name, but I've just paid 60, 70 quid for that.
But a free.
I can't even write my own name.
my favourite profanity filter thing was he used to run the Everton Mad website years ago. And on their profanity list, it would always bleep out the middle part of Scunthorpe. So you could never write Scunthorpe because it would star the second 4 letters.
I always remember on Blue Kipper, like the C word, like automatically got changed. It was a cart. It's like shut up your cart all the time on there. It's like what's after I remember if like logging on for the first time and seeing it was like, what's all this? Like what have I missed here? But it's just like an automatic filter, I think.
Do you reckon when we sign up when we're gonna go through it, putting the Blue Room one there, do we actually try and see if you can get Scunthorpe on it? Because I don't reckon you'd be able to, you know, I reckon that's a really good experiment, that.
Scunthorpe Blues.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Just because the algorithm won't allow it because it's got those 4 letters in that same order.
Yeah, that's all it was. It was amazing.
It's just funny, it's like you said, like someone's obviously sat down, all right. Let's think of all the words, all the bad Everton words.
Yeah, you've got to be an apprentice there or something like that, haven't you? You've done that to them, saying, "Listen, you need to do this. Here's the list."
Right,
about 800 pages of words that they've got to ban.
Like Osman, go karting.
Yeah, things that players have just received shit for.
Yeah, good times.
Like Nick Barbie cunt and all that sort of thing.
Oh god.
Oh, right, lads, on that profanity bombshell, we will leave it there. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Matt. Have a wonderful weekend there. Thanks to everyone who sent questions in, and we'll catch you next time on Mailbag.